you all for being here so early. Gentlemen, thank you for being here as well. You are, in fact, our first panelists in our 4-year run of the Breakfast Briefing, and I think it's fair to say you've drawn a crowd. Just a quick check before we go actually into some of the questions. What's the earliest someone had to get up this morning to be here? Doesn't quite count if you came last night. What's the earliest someone was up this morning? There's a prize. 5. I've got 5. Can anyone beat 5? 10 to 5. I thought I was moving 6, but we'll move to 10 to 5. Your prize is an extra coffee when you're on the way out. Guys, we'll jump straight in if we can. Rose just gave us a great piece there on how important change has been for her throughout her career and how she's embraced it and seen herself through some challenges and made sure that it was a champion of her business throughout her career. Paul, I might come to you first if I can actually. Can you talk to us a little bit about your own experience with change and how Vodafone has embraced change and will continue to embrace change?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a phenomenon. My title is Head of Digital, and it's fair to say my remit since starting at Vodafone 3 years ago has changed dramatically. And I think internally, at Vodafone we put the customer at the heart of everything we do, and sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge when you talk about digital. Puts up a brick wall, it becomes, that's the website, that's the app, that's technology, it's things I don't really understand, and it's things that don't impact me on a daily basis. So we really had to make sure that we bring the focus back to the customer, so that the entire business can actually see that what digital is doing is not only transforming the technology, but it's transforming us, it's transforming ourselves as customers. So what we've really seen in the last few years is that the word digital has moved from being something that was sitting at a computer to being something that went with me everywhere I was with my phone, and is soon to be something that will be connected to every single device in my house. So it's actually, if you think about it, completely outgrown the definition of the word. So digital comes from the Latin digits, so your fingers. You're not going to need your fingers when you're actually asking your Alexa or your Google Home to order your shopping for you. And really it's been very important for us to make sure that we're not too focused on the technology, but we're really focusing in on the customer and making sure that we're seeing how has they changed. And I think the easiest way to think about it is, think about when you went to the doctor 10 years ago. You'd go, you'd tell the symptoms, and you'd be waiting for the doctor to tell you what was wrong with you. Now I go to the doctor and I'm sitting there waiting for him to tell me, you do have what you think you have, or you don't have what you think you have. And that's opened up a whole new host of ways to add value as a business to that customer. So think of how a doctor could change the existing experience of visiting the doctor to make that a better experience because they know that you have done your homework in advance. So I think for us, what we really try to do is to make sure that we've put data at the heart of everything that we do so that we can actually keep up with how customers are changing, how they're evolving, and how can we innovate to add more value to them.
Yeah, thank you. Guys, I might open the same question to you actually. How have you embraced change for your respective businesses?
Hello. I suppose what we do, we're an Apple premium retailer, so we're basically competing against Apple. That makes it quite difficult because it's the same price, same product, so how we distinguish ourselves. So we had to look at, we were bricks and mortar for a long time. Up to 2 years ago we were bricks and mortar, we had 6 shops in Ireland, a couple in the UK, but we had to change. We had to look at customers, and it's all about looking at the data, and that's one thing we didn't do. We were very open about it. We didn't do it up to 2 years ago. We didn't look at things. We didn't look at people who were living in Donegal or Mayo who don't have shops with potential customers. We redid our site. We re-looked at how we were looking at digital, because we had, as you said, a head of digital. What is it? We had an e-commerce manager sitting here. I was a marketing manager sitting here. We had a social media person sitting here. Now it's all in the marketing department because it's about buying, and you get these three facets all together because we literally were doing our own jobs and not talking to each other. So you then go back to the scenario where you have traditional retail people managing your stores and your head of retail who are traditional bricks and mortar. Let's get in and look after the customer. We're never going to go away from the importance of that interaction with the customer, but you've got to explain to them that we need to know these customers better. And when you have non-store locations and you want to go to places outside where your core business is, you don't get to know them unless you embrace the back end, the analytics. Yeah. The analytics. So there is a 27-year-old farmer who comes in and really wants to buy an iPad in Donegal. We didn't know that before because we weren't looking at Donegal. So it's there in front of you, and if you don't look at all the information there and you don't take the time, there's a lot of people who give, I suppose, a little bit of have a look at the analytics and then create a report and they'll go into the board meeting. There we go, lovely. We've 48 48% women, 52% men, and put it away. If you don't look at it, and that's what we change, we literally, on a monthly basis, look at every customer, target out everything, not just for digital marketing, but because I look after the overall, or traditional spend, or radio, or print, or outdoor, everything has to go into the analytics that are coming back to us, both in store and online. And if you embrace that, it makes things a lot easier, and then the bosses are happier and it's into the board meeting.
And Morgan, finally, is on change. How has it impacted your business? How do you embrace it?
I suppose traditionally I'm a bricks and mortar auction house, which were all in-room auctions. Obviously, 10 years ago, when you're all auctions, the auction market has changed. It's a very small niche market which I'm in. But last year, for example, in 2011, I set up first Irish auction house doing online only auctions basically. And last year, instead of having 6 or 7 in-room auctions, I had 16 auctions in total, but 14 of them were purely online. But I think I would love to say I'm a digital strategist and all the rest, but I have to do most of it myself in-house basically. I love looking at analytics between getting all the products and cataloguing and doing everything else. So one day I dream about all the extra people that can give me a hand, but certainly I find when I'm doing auction wise, the more information you can give people online, keep it simple, keep it as simple as possible for whether it be for registration online or whichever. If you make those pages difficult, you go to conferences, you hear the big companies selling music, Christian selling you that 97% of people leave their web page after just from the registration page alone. They'll just click out of it. Like, that's great, they do all the analytics and that. I should be doing more of them, and Kate and Marie, who I work with there, and who are brilliant at trying to get me to get better goals inside and get different things working out. But I don't have all the strategists and the rest of these guys have there. That it has really worked for me. I would say 18 months ago, even 12 months ago, if you told me what I was doing, how much I was doing with Google AdWords, I certainly have moved my marketing budget has gone hugely away from the print media, which would be traditionally the way for auctions to be doing. I still use it, and I still use radio, but at the same time, more and more that the remarketing, I don't know which campaigns, remarketing campaigns, Gmail campaigns, trying to keep that. Let's just say I'm a small company, so I think I'm looking at analysing these and doing everything else as well. So having a presence on it there, but giving as much information about a product and not making it complicated for them, and making a one-stop solution if you can from my point of view is very
Okay. So I think we each discussed data there and analytics in some shape or form or another. Paul, I know that you mentioned that there yourself, and you guys had a particularly successful campaign, which we'll discuss a little in a moment. But can you talk about how the importance of data led to insight finding for you guys, and what you could learn from the data that you were able to get for your campaigns, I suppose?
Yeah, I suppose we recently launched a new proposition called Vodafone X, which was for college students. And one of the things when we started to do our traditional research, which is what we've always done, which is, we work with a research agency, we do focus groups, we find an insight, and kind of unhelpfully we landed on the insight that actually you change an awful lot between the ages of 18 and 24. It's a clear role for Vodafone to help you discover who you are at that age, but really what you change and what you're interested in, we were kind of left with another big question mark. So at the time, we actually started to speak with our amazing tech team, Ruth and Elaine, about how could we actually work with Google to understand a bit more about what are 18 to 24-year-olds in Ireland interested in. And we were able to actually map out year-round, month by month, what do they care about and when do they care about it, and where are there opportunities then for Vodafone to be relevant to them. So from that, we got some great learnings. We found out that apparently when you start college, dating becomes very important, apparently, as a student. And through that, we were able to see, okay, well, obviously you need a network in order to swipe right. So how can we actually let people know that we are the brand to help you do that? And so it was a big shift in terms of how we normally do things, because it wasn't go to the research agency, brief the creative agency, get a campaign and get it out and just leave it run. We actually needed to think about how can we change the way that we work as a marketing team in order to actually respond to the various different things that our customers are interested in at various different times. And so throughout the year, we really made sure that we were changing our creative, we were being as relevant as possible to our customers. And we've seen absolutely huge success from that, both commercially but also from a campaign perspective in terms of our brand consideration, in terms of our brand recall. You know, we partnered with you guys to understand how could we be hyper personalised to this audience. And I think, you know, one of the things I'm always kind of saying back in the office is, you know, our attention span has halved in the last 12 years. So when you look at this cohort, you know, they really can, 6 seconds is all you have with them, and you've got to be able to land a very complex message, because telco is complex. You know, we sell minutes, we sell text, we sell data. We have a lot of information we wanted to talk to you about. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to find a way of how could we really interrupt and flip the narrative. So we're not talking about us and our plans, but we're talking about how we're there to help you do what you love. So we partnered with you to launch Ireland's first programme campaign, which was allowed us to dynamically adapt our creative to the video that someone was about to watch on YouTube. So if you were about to watch a Donegal GAA video, we tell you that with Vodafone X you're able to watch all the GAA, all the Donegal GAA you wanted to watch, and we got incredible results from it. So it was a really big difference in how we normally work, in terms of it wasn't just a press play and walk away, it was working with it throughout the campaign, but it also made sure that we had data and understood really what was important to our customers right from the very start.
And could you tell us actually on that point, how did you move from the ideation stage right through to execution for such a successful campaign? How did you actually put into practice the idea? We know that we want to go after a new audience. How do we actually go from that, that's what the concept is, right through to execution?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for us was making sure that we had all the relevant parties in the room. I think it was about having our media agency, working with a creative agency, working with our Google team, and having everybody working together right from the start. We knew we had to look at this differently. We knew it was a different approach for us. And the most important thing was making sure that we had all of the right people in the room working together, and not having a separate kind of siloed approach to it. So, you know, once we had the data, we had our media agency in the room who were coming up with various recommendations about, okay, well, where could we go to talk to people who were interested in dating or who were interested in music. We had our creative agency thinking about how can we stretch the platform and move it in different ways. And then we had Google going, actually, we think we have platforms which will help you do this even better. So for us, it was really about making sure that we had all of the parties in the room talking to each other, working together, and then also making sure that we weren't kind of just pressing play and walking away, that we were actually continuing that engagement, so that the kind of year-round piece working together.
Okay, and Kieran, I know you mentioned around taking the insights from the analytics and actually reading and finding what those insights mean, as opposed to just let's print them off, but actually what can we learn from them and putting that into the strategy. Obviously Q4 for your business would have been a big period for you guys. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you took learnings from that analysis and built it into the strategy for a seasonal peak for you guys?
Well, I suppose, yeah, as I said, Q4, like a lot of retailers, particularly in tech, it goes up, and then you hit Q4 and that's when you make the money. Quite simply, if you have to have a good Q4, we're all in trouble. So Q4 is hugely important. It's Black Friday, it's Christmas, it's gifting, it's very important. So we look at what we had last year. We look at where they're coming from, we're looking at their interest. Everything we know in the audience and how much data is in the back end, how much stuff we can pick up. And then we decide, right, we want to spend 30-35% in our agency. We talk to core agencies, 35% online. But we also say there's 20% of that in certain areas we can put billboards. And it all goes back to this all-encompassing approach that it can't just be everything. But it also goes back to, I look at the data and I might think I know everything, but I don't know everything. And no one does. So you surround yourself with experts. You get a digital agency, in our case we have Core who work with yourself. You get your experts like working with the lads. We get our own media, traditional media buyers to say, right, we're going to go around it. Because if you try and do it, all on your own, thinking you know everything, it's going to be very difficult. For the smaller companies, that's why you have your internal person in Google who can help you out that. But for a big company like us, we have the facility and we have the expertise, like the lads at Vodafone. So we put them all in, throw it up on the table and say, right, this is how we're going to do, this is how it's going to work. But also look at, and it's very simple, it's a business and it's about doing better than last year. Then you're in the good books. So you look at what we did last year, how we can improve by 15, 20, 25%, particularly that Black Friday madness, which it is now. It's Black Friday day, Black Friday week, it'll be Black Friday quarter, the way things are going. But we need to do better, and we did with the tackles to help yourselves, to help the AIS, to help everyone. We did a lot better this year, which is because retail isn't flying with Ireland by any means. And I'm on the e-commerce committee with Retail Excellence Ireland, and there's a lot of people struggling, and we bucked that trend and we put it down to, obviously we've got a great product, we're lucky like that, don't get me wrong, but there's other people selling a great product too. So it is literally looking at everything, taking that data, getting your whole team together, like yourself said, and coming up with a plan, and then reviewing it, because again it goes back to reviewing it. You can do it if you have a great month, great, but if you don't sit down after 6 weeks afterwards, do your POA, have a gander and say, right, okay, not everything works, and not everything will work. Sometimes you will spend 2.5, 3, 4 grand on a campaign, you go, got nothing out of that, damn it, you'll feel bad. But you know something, the next campaign will start to do better and you just don't go with it again. Not everything is going to work in business, in trading marketing, it's not going to work. And once you know that, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I know we were chatting beforehand as well, you're going kind of a layer beyond that as well. We were saying about, for last year for your business, connecting your offline media with your online media was a big focus for you guys as well. So how did, again, those insights and I suppose that planning feed into that execution for that example?
Take one example, there's a young enough demographic here. So take Hot Press Magazine, right? So Hot Press Magazine, music demographic between about 18 and 34. So we had a look at our data. I said, right, there's a lot of people who like music because they're buying iPods or they're buying iPhones or they're buying speakers or whatever off us. We said, we're going to do a campaign with that. We're going to have a look at some of our back-end words to make sure that they're searching or bidding on the same thing, and we tied it all back in afterwards. It's a very small example, as they say. It's a niche magazine. It's a very, very good magazine to work on. But it's no use doing that and trying to have this kind of music-y crowd who are into that and not bidding for the same guys who are online, because you could be sitting in, I'll just say Starbucks, but Google Cafe or whatever, having a cup of coffee, and you've got your iPad. But you need to when you're searching, you need to be bidding on those words as well. So it is very much a case of, suck it and see, as we say, try it and see it, but if you don't have any overall plan, it's not going to work.
So taking the insights that you knew of your audience offline and mirroring that in the campaign that we had online, really.
Absolutely.
Morgan, I might come to you actually next, if I can talk a little bit about, you've had a lot of success in bringing your market to an overseas audience for the first time. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you approached expanding your business and widening the reach of your potential audience?
Well, that's not the answer most of the time. Some days it is good, some days it's not so good. But yeah, about 30-35% of what we sell goes abroad, which is great. I always think that when we get to 90%, there's such a small population in Ireland that when we get to 90% going abroad and 10% left in Ireland, that's when we've actually cracked it properly. But as Irish art, we are selling is predominantly so. How it's what is the answer? Let's just say, I'm not trying to be smart and don't know the answer. I think about this all the time. I sleep at night dreaming about it all the time. How does it work? But anyway, I do the analytics and I do a lot of the AdWord campaigns. I should do a lot more social media than I do. But then again, a lot of the age profile who actually buy Irish art in different categories will be an older profile to an extent, and that's so they don't use as much Facebook, they don't use as much Instagram that was there, and that, but more and more every generation is coming on and using more of it. So it's because obviously I'd love to have the marketing budgets and everything that you guys have to go to that, but certainly from Google AdWords, basically on that, just doing the dynamic ads, the doing brand awareness, trying to find areas when you're doing locations where you want to do it, to try and find areas where there's obviously Irish populations to an extent. There's obviously areas which, like in Ireland, there's countries which don't really embrace auctions and people just don't traditionally go to auctions and that. So more, so in the States, being a typical example, the UK at this stage to me is more like a domestic market because yes, we sell so much to the UK, 20% will go to the UK, 65 to 70% will go to Ireland, and the other 10% will go around the rest of the world and that. So sometimes it's pretty hard to sort of say, well, you get half a dozen customers from New Zealand or Australia, and we're trying to spend budgets down there. I'm hoping that Google, after me coming this morning very early, are going to give me a database of every Irish person around the world in the AV1 category basically, and that's I don't even know what AB1 stands for, but so if that's okay, yeah, I'll take that away. That's all I asked for coming this morning with.
You mentioned you're based in West Cork yourself. I had the pleasure of being down in Skibbereen a couple of years ago at the National Digital Week. But I'm sure there's a lot of business owners perhaps in the room that are maybe not